I have engaged with the EFF. I wrote to the MKP, they blue-ticked us. That's fine, no problem. But we did reach out. But what is ironic, and I want you and the country to understand this, the DA spoke to nobody other than the ANC making their demands, their unreasonable demands.
Sure, I'm not even going to waste much of your time because I just want you to hear directly from ActionSA what they said today as they were briefing the media. The thing they said about the DA, and they seem like they found each other with the ANC, like they are working together, and they say the DA did not talk to anyone, MK blue-ticked them, and they did not vote for any VAT increase. In fact, they oppose it. They just allowed the government to proceed with the budget, excluding that part of VAT. The things that they're saying, they say you can find this money somewhere. Guys, welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our beautiful country. Let me not hold you here from ActionSA. Yeah. How hot are things though?
Honourable Speaker, let me remind us all why we are here this afternoon, and that's because we have a budget impasse and that the GNU has not been able to thread that budget needle, having been in government together for 9 months. And the main protagonist in this conflict is the very party that were clapping like seals this time a year ago when the minister tabled his budget. But now they are moaning like a drain. From the outset, ActionSA has fiercely opposed any increase in VAT and the personal income tax bracket creep. We remain unwavering in our commitment shielding ordinary South Africans from unjust and unnecessary tax hikes. At the first aborted effort to table a budget, I said that the government must cut the fat and leave the VAT. ActionSA chose to recommend changes to the fiscal framework rather than amend it outright because an amendment would have required the Minister of Finance to redo the entire budget process. This would have caused more delays. Let me remind you what the delays are. 19th of February, aborted budget. 21 days later, 12th of March, presentation of a budget. 21 days later, we are here today and we have an impasse. All that while, the value of our rand has gone down the drain. The rand to dollar value has decreased by 1.1%. Rand to pound, 1.2%. Rand to euro, 1.1%. That's making South Africans much poorer than a proposed increase in VAT that we object to. Instead, our approach allows for the necessary time to table alternative revenue proposals and, most importantly, to gazette a postponement of the VAT increase without triggering a full budget revision. ActionSA led the charge in the Standing Committee on Finance to protect South Africans from increases in VAT. We made this recommendation to prevent a VAT increase, to prevent inflation or to ensure inflation adjustments for personal income tax and prevent income tax stealth bracket creep. Instead, the committee now will have 30 days to develop alternative proposals to raise 19 billion rand in personal income tax and 13 billion rand to make up the shortfall that is required to balance this budget. This approach ensures that the government explores reasonable and responsible revenue solutions without burdening the ordinary South Africans with unfair tax hikes. ActionSA's constructive, responsible alternative keeps the fiscal framework intact while preventing more fiscal instability and procedural deadlock. SARS has proven today that they are the master revenue collectors. They collected 1.855 billion rand of revenue in the last financial year. 8.8 billion rand more than they projected, 114 billion rand more than the year before. There is the solution. The solution lies with SARS doing its job and this House empowering SARS to do its job, not by taxing poor South Africans, not by exposing South Africans to bracket creep. We now have a month to fix that, and I hope that this House will put South Africans first and put their parochial priorities in their pockets. Thank you.
I want to reinforce during this press conference what I said on the 19th of February and what we stand for as a caucus, that the government must cut the fat and leave VAT. And we've been saying that consistently. From the outset, ActionSA has fiercely opposed any increase in VAT and the stealth tax of personal income tax bracket creep. We remain resolute in our commitment to shielding ordinary South Africans from unjust and unnecessary tax hikes because the GNU can't do what it is supposed to do. I'll give you an important context around the fiscal framework. South Africans are rightly concerned. We must take seriously and address with every effort that we can to deal with their concerns. We cannot allow the spread of reductionist, malicious and outright false narratives that are being perpetrated by bad faith actors. These do nothing to reassure South Africans and in fact cause more harm, especially when they come from those who offer no practical solutions. No amount of petulance and childlike behavior and soundbite politics is going to fix this mess that we're in. What must be made clear is that yesterday's adoption of the report was about determining the size of government spending and was the first step in kickstarting the substantive deliberations necessary to develop the appropriation, revenue and tax bills in the coming days, weeks and months. The stark reality is that government expenditure has spiraled out of control with widespread wastage, placing our fiscal position in serious jeopardy. This demands tough yet responsible decisions. Engaging in grandstanding and political brinkmanship does nothing to resolve the crisis. In fact, it compounds the crisis. Without responsible action, we risk finding ourselves months down the line without a set budget and the economy in tatters. And you know, consider where we will be without a budget. More teachers will lose their jobs. Unemployed doctors will not be employed. SARS will not receive the funding it requires to fix and fill the budget gap. On the DA's legal action, they're well within their rights to pursue legal action. We encourage them, in fact, to do that. We believe in the separation of powers. It's entirely up to them. What must be noted about the DA is that ActionSA made genuine efforts to engage them on the budget. Not only were we rebuffed continuously, we were insulted, we were maligned, and we were treated, Alan Beasley was treated with such contempt by Mr. Mark Burke, who has made it an art form to be unreasonable and rude and arrogant. And he has alienated everybody in the standing committee because they simply won't engage. We have engaged with the ANC, they engaged us in fact. I have engaged with the EFF. I wrote to the MKP, they blue-ticked us, that's fine, no problem, but we did reach out. But what is ironic, and I want you and the country to understand this, the DA spoke to nobody other than the ANC making their demands, their unreasonable demands. They overplayed their hand. They didn't engage us, fine. They didn't engage the IFP, GNU partner. They didn't engage RISE, GNU partner. Were they serious about finding a solution to this impasse? No. I believe they are propagating this impasse at their interest. They are not putting South Africans first. Even a legal delay is going to delay this matter even further. And what's going to happen is the 1st of May, VAT is coming. So they try what they may. They can try and scapegoat everybody else for the fact that they overplayed their hand and lost. It's their problem, and they're not fixing it. Now we have to find a solution. We oppose any VAT increase, we oppose tax creep, and if we don't find a solution in 27 days' time, do not look to us to support you to pass the rest of this budget. The passage of this budget is still a long, long way away. And the people that they have convinced to get them out of the hole that they've dug for themselves are not going to continue doing that if they show no good faith. So we're going to hold the ANC to account. And you know who holds the key to all of this? Is the minister. The minister who brought the budget with a 0.5% VAT increase. The same minister who trimmed off 1.5% in 21 days, we can trim off the other 0.5% easily. And as I said before, 20 billion now, because we've raised 8.8 billion more, 20 billion in a 2 trillion rand budget is nothing. We can go and find that money and prevent the poor people having to pay for poor governance and wasteful expenditure. Thanks very much.
Yo guys, and I really believe that, you know, that Tshwane is doing something for ActionSA. They got that opportunity in whichever way they got it in, and they seem to be doing a great job, and people are recognizing that. As I'm talking to you, ActionSA is trending in a way that they have never trended before. Because of this VAT, they are standing with VAT, and as well as the way they are handling that Tshwane municipality. So I don't know, guys, how the future looks like politically, but it seems like ActionSA has got some gains from the political climate that we have in South Africa right now. Hey guys, yeah, did you hear what this man said? Did you hear what Athol said? Hey, guys, anyway, if you watched up to here, please share your views in the comment section. If you watched up to here, I really appreciate you watching my videos. And if you are on Wi-Fi and you have the time, kindly watch my ads in full the next time you bump into my videos, as that really goes a long way. Do have a beautiful afternoon.